at the NFC Championship game. What a big showdown. It will be truly exciting. A great game to watch. And of course, that means the Packers will take on the Carolina Panthers. So, Denver, KC. Peyton Manning trying to change his playoff record. It has been a tough journey for Peyton in the playoffs. But KC, they have their number. They've beaten them 2 times in a row. KC wants revenge, but it's going to be too difficult at Mile High. They will not come away with this victory. Peyton Manning is on his way. They are going to an AFC Championship game this year. I know Peyton doesn't want to be sitting at home come the second or third weekend of January. I am not 100% sure, but it will be a great game to watch nonetheless. So, now, we go to the other... Oh, and that phone ringing, once again, in the background, is the home phone. We apologize for that. Not the calling phone. But, we go on. AFC, second matchup. New England, Cincinnati. They played once as well. In a rainy finish, the Cincinnati Bengals absolutely shut down Tom Brady, ending his touchdown throwing streak. They won 13-6. And good news, Bengals fans. You guys are going to the AFC Championship game. Tom Brady, I'm sorry. It is over the season for you. Not enough weapons against this terrific Cincinnati defense. You look at this Cincinnati D. They were able to beat the Colts. They play their best against good teams. They beat the Colts. They beat the Patriots. They are ready this year. They beat the Packers when Rodgers was playing. They are ready for a shot at the AFC. They beat the Baltimore Ravens. They are ready. Tom Brady, you are going home. You are going to be watching the Denver Broncos versus the Cincinnati Bengals in Denver. So get ready, everybody, for a big-time orange AFC Championship game. So now we go to the second matchup. This is in the NFC now. 2 matchups. And we start with Seattle versus New Orleans. They played once before. And it did not end pretty for New Orleans. 34-7. And for New Orleans fans, this is an omen of what is to come. Seattle is dominant. They have the skills to go on and win this thing. And they will win. They will defeat the New Orleans Saints. I'm sorry, Drew. You can't do it. And it is over. Now, we go to the second matchup. My team, the Packers, versus my team that I predicted to do well this year, the Carolina Panthers. And the Panthers are on fire, but Aaron Rodgers he's ready. He is going to lead them to victory over the Carolina Panthers to set up a matchup against the Seahawks. Now, AFC Championship game, Broncos-Bengals. And the Broncos, I'm sorry, I just don't trust Peyton Manning's record, and I'm going to stick with my preseason prediction. Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. In the NFC, it is the Hail Mary rematch, Packers-Seahawks, but it is a different team for the Seahawks. They are not prepared to lose. They want to win, and they will win over the Packers. No Hail Mary this time. The Packers will be heaving a Hail Mary at the end, but there will be no mistakes. It will be an incomplete pass, even if it is caught by both. They will figure out. They will not cost this game again for either the Seahawks or the Packers. And we have our Super Bowl matchup, Seahawks-Bengals. And in this one, it will be good. 2 teams built around the philosophy of defense. 2 teams that are very talented. But in the end, Russell Wilson, he's more dynamic. You've got the Bengals, who are just phenomenal. You've got a great team. And we actually have Robert Dieters, who I was on a show with earlier today. Robert, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Noah, how about you?
I'm great. So, what did you want to talk about?
You know, you said the Bengals against the Chargers.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that you picked the Bengals over the Chargers this coming week.
Yes,
but
I did.
The Bengals are not going to win the Super Bowl.
I'm not going to say, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I think they're going to the Super Bowl.
But they're not the best team
I don't think they are either. I think the best team is the Broncos, but I don't trust Peyton Manning in the playoffs. He's won one Super Bowl.
I don't think it's the one and done.
I don't think I don't trust Peyton Manning. If you say the Chiefs win it, if you say the Patriots win it, I trust it a lot more than the Denver Broncos.
I still don't think the Chiefs can win it, but I still think Denver has a really good shot. I think Peyton Manning, this is different. He's with a different team this year. And I think the one and done era is gone. I think he'll go all the way. And, for the NFC side, I look at those teams, and it's been pretty competitive, but if I had to pick the NFC team, I know this might be surprising you, but I think the Panthers can make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I would have to agree that they could too. And, I predicted them at the beginning of the year, and I think they can too, but just right now, Seattle, despite the loss against Arizona, they are so good, and it's really hard to pick against them. And we'll see, in the first game, depending on who they play, possibly the Saints, if they look vulnerable. But the truth is, most of the time, the number one seed hasn't come out, the number one seed in the NFC hasn't come out as the Super Bowl team. So if you're looking at history, Seattle might not make it, and then the Panthers, yeah, they could definitely be one of those teams.
Well, you look at it, and you saw the Panthers play the Seahawks, and that was such a great game. It just came down to Russell Wilson throwing a passing touchdown. I think it was to Golden State, I believe, for the winning touchdown against the Panthers. And the Panthers, I think they probably have the best defense in the league, I have to say, because when they played against the Niners, they beat them 10-9. 10-9. They didn't even give the Niners the double digits. And that was impressive to me. Because that was the best defensive stop against the Niners this season. I think that's what I'm going to be shared on the playoffs. The Panthers can play like that through that whole playoff team. Throughout whole playoffs, I think that the Panthers have a good job winning that Super Bowl. And Cam Newton is on fire right now.
Yeah, you're right. Every other game, the Niners put up good numbers, 35, 34, 34, 32, 31. They put up good numbers. The only game where they put below 20, actually, besides that Carolina game, was in the 19-17 victory over Seattle. So you're right. The Panthers have the best defense, or one of the best defenses in the NFC. Of course, Greg Hardy and Cam Newton, as you said, is on fire, and he has the weapons this year. D'Angelo Williams is finally starting to play better. He's looked great, and this team looks great. It'll definitely be a great NFC and AFC. I think all of the teams this year are a lot closer together than they have been in recent years, and I think most of the games could go either way.
And I just want to ask this before I go. What do you think is the biggest mismatch for this week?
Ooh. Well, I look at the matchups this week, and most of them are good. I think all of them are pretty good, actually. But the biggest mismatch for me, I can't say Chiefs-Colts. I think that's the closest. Niners-Packers, I think, is close. I even think the Bengals-Chargers will be close. I think Phillip Rivers has what it takes. I'm going to have to go with the Saints over the Eagles. I think Nick Foles is not ready for the playoffs. I think, he's a great quarterback, but out of all of the matchups, the Saints just jump out to me as a much more experienced team. They've won a Super Bowl. They have a great coach. And, for that, I'm going to have to go with the Saints-Eagles as the biggest mismatch.
You can argue both ways. You can go Niners-Packers or even the Saints and Eagles. And I agree with you on that point, because Eagles aren't even ready for the playoffs, I don't believe. But, they had the Michael Vick in the beginning, then again the Nick Foles, and Nick Foles does the job. We'll just see, because, Nick Foles I think, impressed me all year long, especially with the passing and having LaShawn McCoy as such a great weapon.
Yeah. Thank you so much for calling in, Robert.
No problem. Thank you, Noah, and have a great show, and Happy New Year's.
Yeah, you too. So, great call. Another caller. It's fun to have callers, and as we close out the NFL segment, I'm going with Seattle to win the Super Bowl. I think this is their year. And with that, we will be moving on to our next segment, and that will be our quick MLB update. So, right now in the MLB, the Astros have signed reliever all-star free agent Jesse Crain to a 1-year deal. Shin-Soo Choo was unveiled by the Rangers, so is the Cruz era over? And Japanese ace Masahiro Tanaka was posted as a free agent. It will be big to see who can get him. Sad news in the MLB. Ex-Orioles center fielder, winner of 8 Gold Gloves, dies. To sadness, thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Ibanez, Raul Ibanez, one of the great hitters a couple of years ago, dropped off a bit, but he has been signed by the Angels. And more death. Longtime Indians broadcaster Hegan dies at 71. So really sad there. And the Twins, they finalized their deals with Mike Pelfrey and Kurt Suzuki, as we told you last week. They signed them, but they have finalized those deals. So, with that, we move on to the college football, and we have a upset alert for you guys indeed. Duke is up 21-3 on Texas A&M in Johnny Manziel's final game, most likely. But, 21-3. So, it's going to be tough for Johnny Manziel. He's going to have to make this comeback. But, we're going to go through some of the games that happened before or after the show we had with you. The last show we did, Oregon State, Boise State was in the night. Oregon State ended up winning that game 38-23. Boise State stood no chance. The next game, Pittsburgh. Chris Blewett did not blow it as kicker. He knocked in a field goal to give Pitt the win over Bowling Green. Northern Illinois, Jordan Lynch, his final game with Northern Illinois did not go as planned. 21-14, an upset in the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. I think that's the longest name. We look through some of the other bowls. R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, no. Royal Purple Las Vegas Bowl. Beef O'Brady's Bowl, St. Petersburg is close. But San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl, that is probably the longest one. But there is another one long coming up. Military Bowl presented by Northrop Grumman. And in that game, Marshall upset Maryland, giving Conference USA the victory. The Thunder and Herd were able to pull it off. Marshall are walking out a champion. Syracuse versus Minnesota, and another upset here. Minnesota, who played so well in the Big Ten, upset by Syracuse at the ACC. Syracuse, big win in the Texas Bowl. Washington versus BYU. Husky versus Cougar. And Bishop Sankey powered BYU to the win. Sankey may be gone after this year. That was the Fight Hunger Bowl. On my birthday, December 28th, the New Era Pinstripes Bowl kicked it off with Notre Dame easily coming out of the victory over Rutgers despite being tied 13-13 at halftime. Then the Belk Bowl, a couple of return touchdowns actually helped the UNC defeat Cincy 39-17. Teddy Bridgewater, this is his shot to solidify his spot at number 1. He won 36-9 with Louisville. Phenomenal game, passing for 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Great game in the Russell Athletic Bowl. He looks headed to a number 1 pick and headed to Houston. Kansas State against Michigan in the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. And Buffalo Wild Wings actually opted not to play this game in a couple of places, so that is kind of odd. It is the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl nonetheless. And Kansas State defeated Michigan State, giving, I think, the Big 12 its first win of the bowl season, possibly? You look back at it. Yeah, their first win of the bowl season for the the Big 12. So we move on to yesterday. Middle Tennessee got crushed by the Navy midshipmen 24-6. Navy concludes this 9-4 year. It's a great year for them. Ole Miss defeats Georgia Tech 25-17. Georgia Tech had no shot. Bo Wallace played terrific. Oregon in the Valero Alamo Bowl. And as Jay Liker said, Texas will not want to remember the Alamo. Oregon 30-7. And they didn't even play well. They were amazing. 10-7 after the first quarter. Blinked Texas for the rest of the game. Blink, blink, blink. Nothing. Big goose eggs for Texas. Texas Tech then, they're moving on. But they are going home with a victory over Arizona State, the 14th ranked Arizona State team. What a win. A lot of people thought there was no way, but a quick start, 27-13, 37-20 at the end, or 37